One of my favorite things in the world to do is watch Friends. I know it's been off for years and years. It's not even around, but I still find myself binge watching old episodes. And I was thinking about this today and thinking, it's the predictability of the friends in the circle, right? You have Chandler with his quirkiness, Monica with her type A of just everything has to be so neat and tidy and organized. It's Phoebe's ability to make you laugh at her silly songs. Ross always comes in with those smart comments, and Joey and him and his food, like it is just so hilarious. And of course, Rachel, she just brings everybody together, and it's just such this beautiful, cohesive team of people. And it's why I wanted to come on and share with you today that I have an opportunity for you to find your friends in the content creation space. So if you are thinking about creating your first or your next digital course, I don't want you to miss this opportunity because Amy Porterfield just opened the doors for registration for her Course Confident Bootcamp. And I'm actually offering a special bonus for anyone that registers for the Course Confident Bootcamp through my special link. So I want you to go to crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register. That's crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And what you're going to find when you get there is I have this special bonus private podcast series. It's called Money Mindset for Creators. So I want you to go register for Amy's bootcamp, download the podcast, and immediately start listening to it, because what this training is set up to do is to help you get your mind right about monetizing your content, making money so that you can fuel your content creation dreams. So go to crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register for Course Confident. And I cannot wait for you to find your friends and find the people that will be there for you. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, nice little friends segue connection. Go to crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And I cannot wait to see you inside. Okay, let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Rookie Life Podcast. I'm your host, Crystal Profit, and I want to say thank you so much for joining us today for episode 37. So I have a really fun story to share with you today. We're actually going to be talking about an Instagram famous cat. That's right, my friends. You heard me. An Instagram famous cat who actually grew by several thousand followers from the time we originally recorded this interview until it airs today. So it's a pretty amazing story about accepting people and animals for their unique differences. So I can't wait to get into this interview today, and I know you're going to love it just as much as I did. But if you're new to the Rookie Life, welcome. Let me tell you about the other fun things we talk about here on the podcast. We focus on what it means to start something new, even when you have no idea where to begin, how to develop new skills in all areas of your life, and how to find that it factor that'll keep you motivated every single day. So join us as we dive headfirst into what it means to be a rookie. Come on, rookies, we all have to start somewhere. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. Do you see? Yeah, okay. So are you looking to start a podcast in 2019? But you're thinking, I don't know what I'd talk about. It's like, I have no idea even where to get started. Don't even let that thought overwhelm you, because guess what? I've done all the work for you. I've actually created a workbook that has 500 podcast ideas for any industry. That's right, 500. Actually, it's over 500. I think it's like 554 for any kind of podcast. I specifically created this tool for entrepreneurs who aren't sure if podcasting is right for them. They say, well, I have a blank, insert any kind of industry, business. Will a podcast work for me? My answer, 99.99999% of the time, is yes, a podcast will totally work for that kind of business. So let's say you're in personal finance or real estate or business or marketing or technology or beauty and fashion or pet services or life coaching or parenting or any other number of industries. I've got you covered. Let me show you some podcast ideas that I have for you to get started. You can go to crystalprofit.com/500 podcast ideas. That's Crystal with a K, Profit with 2 F's and 2 T's. crystalprofit.com/500 podcast ideas, and you can grab this free, 100% free download today. Hey rookies, and welcome back to episode 37. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you of a couple of things. The first is that I wanted to tell you that we always provide the show notes for each episode. So if you're interested in learning more about any of our guests, then please visit crystalprofit.com/podcast. That's Crystal with a K, Profit with 2 F's and 2 T's to grab the show notes for this week's episode. You'll also find social media links for any of our guests so you can continue to follow in their journeys. The next thing I wanted to remind you is to be sure and subscribe to the show so you don't miss any future episodes. There are some really exciting things coming up around the corner, and I cannot wait to share them with you. And while you're at it, please rate and review the show on iTunes. I'm ready to do another giveaway because these things are just so much fun. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to choose random reviewers to receive some really cool Rookie Life merchandise. You can leave a star rating between 1 and 5 stars, but here's what you have to do to be considered for the drawing. You have to leave a comment. And here are some of the things that you could do in your comments. You could tell other people what you think of the show. You can tell me the topics that you want to hear us talk about here on the podcast, or you can just comment with which episode is your favorite. But you have to leave a comment to be considered for the drawings. I don't want you to miss out on the opportunity to get some really cool stuff because who knows what the prize will be next time. Okay, now that we've gotten all the business side of things out of the way, let's dive right into my interview with Lauren and Maya. Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about our guest today before we dive right into the interview. But Lauren Beader is a copywriter. And one of the amazing things about everything that's happened to her over the last few months and the last year of her having her amazing cat is she is now a budding children's book author. She's a big-hearted cat mom, and she is a bold activist for children with special needs everywhere. Lauren currently lives with her fiance in Salem, Massachusetts, where she coaches a Special Olympics gymnast team and runs a successful, that's kind of using the word very lightly, Instagram account for her special needs cat, Maya. Through this account, at Meet Maya Cat, she is helping show the world that different is good and that acceptance is all we need. So I just can't wait for you to learn more about Lauren's story and hear about how she adopted Maya and just all the things that have come out of this amazing cat's life. And I know that from an outsider's perspective, it might seem, kind of crazy to think that, okay, it's a cat. But y'all, I'm telling you, if you see the pictures of Maya, you're going to instantly fall in love with her. You can tell that she is different, she is special, and she is just like any other cat that is mischievous and she's silly. And I just love how much Lauren and her fiance have just stepped into this role of loving their animals and loving people everywhere just the way that they are. So that's the message I want you to take away from this interview, and we're just going to dive right in. Here's my interview with Lauren Beader. Well, Rookie Podcast listeners, I'm so excited to introduce you to Lauren Beader today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So
I want to just dive in and for you to give us a little bit of background about yourself. But first, before we do anything, I have to ask about the lady that's stealing the thunder. Like she's stealing everything. Then that is Maya, your cat. Like just tell
Yep.
us, tell us about her and who she is and like how she came into your life and just give us all the things.
Oh, Maya. Maya's really good at being the center of attention. She loves it. So this is very good for her, as you can see or hear. She is snoring right next to me. So we adopted Maya in, I guess, 2017, about a year and a half ago, maybe a little more than that. And she has an extra chromosome. She looks a little different. Her eyes are crossed. Her face is a little flat. She has whiskers going in all directions everywhere. And so she's a little different, and we fell in love with her and adopted her.
So how is like, because I know there's just so many like different directions I could take this in because the way I'm sure that y'all's lives have changed, you know, since she came into your life. So how is it that you picked her? And, you know, like tell me about that experience, you know, when you first laid eyes on her.
Sure. So I had been following this organization based in Salem called the Odd Cat Sanctuary. I've always known I want a pet, and I've always had a soft spot for those who are a little different. So I had been following this organization and a couple of others, and pretty much every week or so, I would show my boyfriend pictures of different animals and say, how about this one? How about this one? And the answer is always like, we're not doing this. No way. And I showed him a picture of Maya, and she was the first one. He was like, okay, like, I'd love to learn more. I'd love to meet her maybe. So we applied that day. I coach a Special Olympics team, and a lot of the athletes on my team have Down syndrome. And when I heard that Maya has a disability similar to Down syndrome, I was like, she's the one. She's definitely the one.
Aww.
So we applied, and then a little while after that, her adoption post on Facebook went semi-viral. Like there were people everywhere, like even in other countries, who were applying to adopt her. Not a whole lot from our area, surprisingly. But so we were like, okay, we're not going to get her. Huge bummer. Like I had already fallen in love with her. And then we got the call saying we did. We had a bunch of interviews, like they came and checked out our house. They're really, really thorough with the way they do their adoption. So we were so happy that we got her.
And how old was she?
So they thought she was about a year old because she has baby teeth.
Okay.
Turns out she's about 3 or 4. So a little older than we thought, but she still acts like a kitten. She still plays around nonstop and does her kitten things.
Yeah. She's still a kid at heart.
Definitely. She has really strong instincts, so she like fake berries her food compulsively, or she will attack things like a kitten would. But yeah, she's like 3 or 4.
She's so cute. So before we hopped on the interview, I was like, oh yeah, I need to go make sure that I want to check out this Instagram and like what it's all about. So y'all, she has, how many followers does she have?
She has right now about, I'm checking, I actually have no idea. She has 294,527 followers.
That's so funny. So how did this idea like just come about to, hey, I'm going to start an Instagram for my cat and see what happens?
It actually really wasn't our goal at all. But because so many people wanted to keep up with her story after the adoption post going out, the organization we adopted Maya from was like, hey, what's your Instagram? A bunch of people are asking for it. And I was like, I don't want to share my personal Instagram with people. So, like, just on a whim, Harrison and I created Meet Maya Cat, and we posted something, and I went out on a hike with my dad. I came back and checked my phone, and her post had over 6,000 likes, and she had like 3,000 followers that day, and we have no idea how it happened. We just posted one picture of her, and it just blew up.
Oh, I'm just sitting here. I'm like that just tells me as, an outsider, like I'm just meeting you, I'm just meeting Maya and like learning more about her. It's like that craving that people have to embrace people and things and everything that's different. So with that being said, I want to go into how did you become a Special Olympics coach? Like, tell me the journey that that led to where you are now, and I guess the process.
Sure. So I've actually been coaching a Special Olympics gymnastics team since I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
Nearly every Saturday. It was something that someone came in. I was a gymnast, and someone came into our practice one day and was like, anyone want to help teach a class? And I've always had a soft spot for those who are different. Didn't really have a lot of experience with people with disabilities at the time, but I fell completely in love with it, and now I run the program. So it's been about 14 years doing this. Some of the girls have been the same pretty much since we started. So we've grown up a lot together. Of course, there's a lot of really new girls too, but it's just so much fun and so great helping build confidence in these kids who are constantly told that they can't do things. So just coming to a gymnastics gym and practicing and competing like everybody else is huge.
Being a woman in business comes with its own unique set of challenges, but also so many opportunities. We get ahead by leaning in to what makes us different from business as usual. I'm Samantha Hartley, host of Profitable Joyful Consulting, inviting you to a special 6-episode series exploring the experience of being a woman in business. You want to hear from women consultants who've hit $1 million, who sell 6-figure engagements, or who've broken their own revenue ceilings? Yeah, those are my clients, and they'll be sharing too. Join me for 6 must-listen episodes that tackle key challenges for women consultants. Follow Profitable Joyful Consulting on your favorite podcast app.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me about, I guess, some of the interactions that you have. Like, what ages are we talking about here of the people on the team?
I coach kids from right now I have girls aged 5 to 29.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really big range. They have all ranges of abilities, all ranges of conditions. We separate them out by age a bit and also by level. So we have levels 1, 2, and 3. The younger girls tend to be level 1, and the older girls tend to be 2 and 3. And we have a bunch of volunteer coaches who come and help. And we'll do everything from practicing forward rolls and cartwheels to now let's practice being awesome and do our salute because we're proud. We practice eye contact and also bending upside down. And how does that feel? So it's every day is different, and it's so much fun all the time.
That's so awesome. Like it's so unique to me, to meet someone that does something like that. And it's just, it's awesome to know that there's people, that care as much as you do, because it is like, it's something that we need more of in the world. And I'm grateful to know you and have met you. And now, now I know if someone were to come with me and say, hey, like I'm really struggling with, my child has special needs, or I don't know somewhere to turn to. And it's like, hey, even if it's just
a small glimmer of light and hope, go check out Lauren. She's doing awesome things. If not, go check out Maya. Maya's amazing. Like, just go see what she's up to.
Yeah, it's honestly been great. So since we had this platform and since I've been so active in the disability community, we started spreading this message of acceptance through Maya's Instagram. And it's so cool how many people we've met from that. Like, we've started talking to a bunch of different families of kids with disabilities, a bunch of adults with disabilities who say, I just want to let you know I've been following Maya's story and she just makes me so happy and makes me proud to be different. We get stories like that. We've had people we actually had a girl, her name is Ruby. She's about 14 years old and she has a rare genetic condition called Strom syndrome. And I had been following them on Instagram for a while, and they reached out to us one day saying, we're huge fans of Maya. We're going to be in Boston. Can we come meet her? So they actually came and met her. Their whole family came. And I mean, I was starstruck meeting Ruby. She was so over the moon happy to be meeting Maya, even though Maya wanted nothing to do with so yeah, it's just been such a cool experience.
Well, so I want to take that, like, your heart for, just being open to helping others and everything. And I want to go into your children's book. Like, tell us how did that story unfold, and how did you get involved in the world of writing?
I'm actually a writer, like, by trade. I'm a copywriter for an advertising agency in Boston. So writing is something I love to do and have always done. And Harrison, my boyfriend, fiance, he illustrates, and he had never done a children's book or anything, but it's something we've always sort of talked about, like, I write, you draw, we should do something. And this just seemed like the perfect opportunity. There aren't a lot of stories out there that promote this message of accepting those who are different in such a simple way. So one night I couldn't sleep and I was like, you know what, let's do this. And I wrote the first draft of the book and spent the next couple weeks sending it to people, families of kids with disabilities, just people with kids in general, getting what they had to think, getting their input, revised it. And then Harrison and I sat down and we were like, okay, how do we make Maya in cartoon form? So we did that, and he illustrated everything by hand. He watercolored, and we scanned things on my mom's printer and just kind of put it together.
That's so awesome. I love hearing those stories, though, because, people, especially, like, I'm a writer, and I know a lot of other people that are, they're trying to figure out the world of publishing and writing. And I love hearing the stories of, you know what, we just said, we're going to do it. And you tried. And it's like, just the journey of doing it is almost as rewarding as holding, like, the first, like, draft of your book, like, just the journey, like, looking back, and you're like, oh my gosh, do you remember when we sat down and worked on it? Like, and it's really cool that y'all got to do that together. So that's really awesome.
It was so much fun. And it's something that it was always this big distant thing. We had no idea how publishing a book worked. We had no idea how putting together a book worked. We had no idea how long it would take. And we're so happy we finally just did it. And it's been going really well.
That's awesome. So tell us the name of the book.
Oh, the book is called Meet Maya Cat, just like Maya's Instagram handle. And it's a story about acceptance. So it's all about how Maya might look different. She might act a little different, but she's just like any other cat.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that for my boys. My boys love to read. I have 3 boys, and they love animals. And I have a feeling they're going to fall in love with Maya too, because she's so cute. Like, I was honestly, like, before we got on the call, I was scrolling, and then I looked at the time and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to jump on the interview, because I just got
lost in her personality. Like she just looks like a hot mess. She looks like she just gets into stuff, and she's just a normal pet that just wants love and acceptance. And I think that that's so cool that that's what y'all talk about and what y'all put out there in the universe for everybody else. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, she's kind of cute. It's funny because we don't even think she looks different anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went to my mom's house this weekend and I looked at her cats and I was like, wow, they're so pointy. Like, because Maya's so round. And we held her up to a mirror the other day and we were like, whoa, she looks so weird in the mirror. That's probably what she looks like to everybody else in real life.
Right.
We don't notice anymore. And it just goes to show that how much difference it can do to look past differences and build that connection.
Well, that's so cool. So what are y'all's plans with Maya? Are y'all just going to keep spreading your message and, just growing this platform of acceptance? And like, what are y'all's plans?
Right now, we're not so sure what we want to do next. We've been getting a lot of really positive feedback from our book, and we've had more than one family tell us that they read it with their kids and it helped them teach their kids about acceptance. Like, it was a really good bridge into that conversation. We had a few families with a child with a disability who actually have reached out and said the same thing. It was their other child's first time really understanding that it's okay that she might look different. It's okay that he might need different care. And that's really cool. So we're not exactly sure what we want to do, but whether it's a new book, whether it's new resources, we want to do something that can continue helping families understand.
That's awesome. I love this conversation because I'm sitting here thinking about my own kids, like sitting down, showing them the book, and you're right. Like, if it's not something that you are exposed to, on a daily basis, then it's something that you're not aware of until you see it. And I think that doing it through a children's book is just such a great way to spread that message before it's, they're just faced with it and they're like, okay, well, how do we treat people differently? But I also think you don't treat people differently. Like, it's, hey, here is someone who's different and we love them just the same because they're human or they're a lovable pet. So That's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a few other Instagram accounts that we've connected with. We actually just did a giveaway with one of them. It's Littlest Warrior. They're a clothing, like an apparel line for kids and parents. And there's shirts that just say chromosome enhanced.
Oh, I love it.
That just normalize it. Like,
right.
Instead of staring, there's shirts that say, yeah, I know I'm different. Like, come say hi to me.
Right, exactly.
And there's something that's just really cool about that. And there's not enough of that out there. So it's cool being able to have these conversations and being able to do something about it.
Right. Oh, that's so awesome. Well, I love y'all's mission. I love y'all's everything that y'all are doing. It's really cool. Even if it's just, like you said, like I'm sure for y'all, it just seems like you're just living your lives. But from an outsider's perspective, like I said, like it's something that the world needs more of because it is very extraordinary to be the way that you are. And I hope that is a normalcy one day. I hope that it's not a compassionate thing to be accepting of others. It's just the norm. It's the way of life.
Exactly. That's exactly what we hope for.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, y'all are definitely doing your part to make that happen. Well, I want to move into our next segment of questions, and this is our keeping it real part of the interview. And I just have they're just little questions I ask everybody. but this could be applied to you and then maybe to you and your life with Maya. I don't know if you want to put a little spin on it, but the first one is, what motivates you on days when everything is just super tough? Like you've spilt your coffee, you're running late, Maya's, there's food all over the house, whatever the case may be. Like, what motivates you to keep going?
We definitely have those days. I guess what motivates me to keep going is just knowing that at the end of the day, what we're doing and what I'm working towards is just helping people. And if I'm not going to do it, who else will? So that mentality and that motivation just, it's what keeps us going. I say as I'm also petting my cat, she also keeps me going.
Right. Okay, well, my next question, and this is probably I'm interested to see how this is for the writer in you, but it's, do you consider yourself a perfectionist?
So much. I've learned to let go a lot with things like writing on Instagram, for instance. I'll just like type something up really quick and post it. And it's really funny because I also write social posts for work sometimes, and I am so particular with those. But when it comes to our own stuff in our own life, it's like, yep, let me just, the other day I woke up to a cat poop in front of my face.
Oh, awesome.
On my pillow. Because Dragon, our other cat, she's paralyzed, and sometimes she drags poops with her out of the litter box. She has long hair. And like, I did not hesitate 1 second to post online and be like, guess what happened, guys? And I think that sums it up pretty much. It's so much of what we're trying to do is about keeping it real and honest, and life isn't perfect. And sometimes you wake up next to a poop and you just got to keep going.
That's like, I think that's your next quote card for Instagram. Like, sometimes you just wake up next to poop and you got to keep going. That's awesome.
That's pretty much what it is.
Okay, well, I have one more question for you, and it's, if you could go back and tell your younger self, you could give her one piece of advice, what would you say to her?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say keep doing what you like doing, because you never know what could happen. Like, I never thought I'd be getting to write about animals and disability and have fun doing it. And here we are with an Instagram famous cat. Also, I didn't even think I'd have a cat, not to mention an Instagram famous cat. But here we are, and you just go with it and you find ways to make the most of it.
That's awesome. So did you know from a young age that you wanted to be a writer?
No, I thought I wanted to be in video production, actually, since like middle school, and I didn't decide I wanted to be a writer until junior year of college.
Really?
So it was always something that happened, but it was one of those things that I was like, I like doing this, so it can't be a job, can it? And
right.
It is.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see, what y'all come up with next, because I feel like there's so many narratives to this story, like not just Maya's, but, just all of the people that you're in contact with. I think that there's so many voices to be heard and so many stories to tell. So I cannot wait to see what y'all come up with next.
Thank you.
Well, how about tell everybody where we can find you, your Instagram, if y'all are anywhere else, and where we can buy your book.
Sure. So you can find Maya on Facebook and on Instagram at Meet Maya Cat, like the pun. And then you can buy her book at bit.ly/buy Maya book.
Okay.
Puns in our house. Her book is available on Amazon as well. And that's all we got.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren, for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, or us.
Hi, Maya. She's like, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone.
Yeah, she's took my heated blanket and never is going to give it back.
Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Y'all, I told you were going to love Lauren and Maya's story. Wasn't that unbelievable? Oh my gosh. Like it made me rethink ways that I can help my own children be more accepting of others and not judge them just because they're different or they're unique. And just to look at everyone the same. We are all the same. No matter if we have special needs or we may seem different on the outside, we're all humans and we all deserve love. Or we're all animals and we all deserve love. Like that's even better on like a biological level, right? Like we're all animals and we all deserve love. Maybe that'll be the tagline for this episode. But I'm so excited to share that whenever we recorded this episode, I think Lauren was at Maya, Meet Maya Cat, their account was at like 290 something thousand followers, right, on Instagram. And I checked this morning and currently they're at like 314,000 followers. And that just blows my mind. And it goes to show you that this is something that people are looking for. They're looking for people that are accepting of everyone, right? It just feels so good to be seen in a way that you never even thought of. And I just love the message that Lauren and her fiance are spreading, using Maya as the example. And Maya just doesn't even care, right? She's just living her best life under her warm, heated blanket that she's steals from Lauren. And I love their story so much. I would really appreciate it if you would go to the link on crystalprofit.com/episode 37. You can go buy Maya's book and you can go learn more about them. You can connect with them on social media. But there's also a link for a place to donate to Lauren's team, her Special Olympics team. And you can do a small part in contributing to such an amazing story of people that are trying to make a difference for everyone, right? We're trying to be inclusive and really focus on accepting everyone for their unique abilities and strengths. And I'm so proud to have gotten to meet Lauren, and I can't one day wait to actually meet Maya in person. How cool would that be? She's so adorable. I encourage you to go check out their Instagram and send them a message and say, hey, we heard about you on the podcast and I love what you're doing. And I can't wait to see more of Maya and the things that she's doing to make a change for the better in this world. So that's it for episode 37. Go check out the show notes. Go follow Maya and donate to a cause that is near and dear to Lauren's heart and to mine also, because I think it's such a great opportunity to help out others that are trying to make a difference. Go check out the show notes, subscribe to the show, and please leave a review. So stay tuned for next week's show. And remember, keep it up, rookies. We all have to start somewhere.
Hey, Profit Podcast listeners, thanks for sticking around to a little bit after the episode to hear this special message, because I want to hear from you. We are starting a new segment called Fan Mail Shoutouts, and I want to hear from you, and I want to hear your questions. What do you want to know? What questions have you been dying to ask me? So here's how to make this happen. Go to the app where you're listening to this podcast right now. Go there. I'll wait a second. Okay. Now, once you're there, you're going to see a hyperlink at the top of the episode description that says, send Crystal a text message. And that's all I want you to do. Send me a text. It could be casual, informal. It could be totally anonymous. Or if you want, you can include your name and the name of your podcast or content wherever you are creating, and I will give you a special shout out in an upcoming episode. So again, go to the show notes for where you're listening to this episode right now, and it will say, send Crystal a text message. And I cannot wait to hear from you and give you a shout out in an upcoming segment of fan mail shout outs.